teachers. It's very great, and I didn't know about it. It was a great initiative. Thank you very much for that, first of all. Introducing this thing in curriculum is a little bit difficult. You know, there's huge criticism against the textbooks that the textbooks are already overloaded, and the government is trying to reduce the content.
Right.
So this is a curriculum. So what we are doing now, let me tell you that before being the Director General of Secondary and Higher Education, I was the Director General of National Academy for Educational Management. What we did there, we gave training to the teachers, the heads of the institutions, like that. And one of the things that you know that by 2030 we're supposed to achieve SDG 4. In other words, we have to achieve quality education by 2030. And try to define quality education. You know that it's very difficult to define quality education, and so try to define it. So broadly, if we would focus on 4 major areas, then we will be able to achieve quality education. These 4 major areas are, I mean, we have to make our students creative. The second is criticality. We have to make our students critical. And the third component is the ethically. We have to make our students ethical. And the fourth one is the social commitment. Take initiative to make their students creative, critical, ethical, and socially committed. I mean, this is supposed to be done not by the textbooks, not inside the classrooms, but through some extracurricular activities. And what I think that, what I have got the idea today, that we can integrate this thing with the criticality issue. If we can make the students critical about the internet contents, and if we can make our students ethical, ethical doesn't only mean that to be good or honest. Ethical also means to be responsible. Ethical also means to have respect for others, other views and others' opinions. So we try to define ethical in different ways so that we can motivate students to be ethical. So I got the idea to that this very thing, which was very much clear to me before, that we can integrate this, I mean, this safety with the critical issue and the ethical issues, so that our heads of the institute be critical in such a way that they will be very careful about handling with this internet material. They will make their students ethical in such a way that they will be careful when they will found the students there. In Saudi Arabia, all the sources are blocked. And I mean, I couldn't use any source, but my students could. They were smarter than me, so they could crack it, and they could visit all the prohibited sites very easily. So blocking the source is not. I mean, it's not a very good. We cannot stop this by blocking the sources. So what we should do, as we have seen, we have to make them critical and ethical in such a way that they will not be the victims of internet content. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gul Farooq. And I like like your creative thinking in ensuring that you can use the themes of critical and ethical and therefore include this. Very good. Thank you so much for that. And I'm happy to see that, as you say, 400,000 children, 400,000 adolescents, if you like, is a huge number, but not that huge in Bangladesh. Yes. And obviously, to take this further, we do need the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Higher Education. And so it's really good to hear how you're thinking today, even how this can be integrated. And that then takes me to the additional secretary, because I would like to hear from you how does this align with your thinking and what you have under the plans for the ministry? I know it's a critical area. We are all aware as well that curriculum, particularly for a higher education, textbooks as mentioned, these are all areas which are, because of the importance that they have in shaping the lives of young people, these are areas which many people have very strong opinions about. So what's your thinking about this? Do you think you can align this with the current curriculum, the current priorities?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. First of all, I'd like to express my thanks to UNICEF and Grameen Fund to organize this kind of policy dialogue, basically for internet security. And as you have already heard that Ministry of Education is trying hard to ensure quality education and also to ensure education for all children. So this is the criteria. And to ensure priority education, we have already given priority to use ICT. Mm-hmm. So that is one of the big issues, basically for the ministry, to introduce ICT in all educational institutions. And we have already developed secondary education program that is basically subsector program to integrate all the development activities, including curriculum development review under this program, which is basically implementing by the Secondary and Higher Education Division in the Ministry of Education. So growing concern is that children, basically the growing children, those who are school going, particularly at the secondary level, they are very curious about internet. So they want to explore the whole world basically through internet. So this is a growing concern for the Ministry of Education, because you cannot stop just exploring the internet by the student. Rather, we have to allow them for their creativity, for their development, and for their knowledge. But how to ensure? If we allow them, then definitely cyber crime is there. So there might have chance of, say, visiting some of the sites which basically not permissible to all the children. We have education policy 2010 that was formulated, but in that policy we have given priority to IT education. So there is nothing basically as to how we can secure our children from internet bullying. It's time to address this issue, I think. And we are going to formulate our Education Act, where I think this issue can be clearly addressed. There should have some protocol in the law or in the policy so that the system can be well regulated by the users. Here, the curriculum, you have already mentioned that curriculum needs to be revised. That is the priority issue. But we cannot accommodate everything in the curriculum because of huge burden, particularly for these. So in that case, there is a pressure from the parent side to reduce the curriculum. What we are thinking as a policy making organization to reduce the curriculum or to include this kind of sensitive issues to the children. We are thinking to introduce some of the supplementary materials, reading material for the students so that they can read it within their studentship in the educational institutions, and that shouldn't be part of their public examination. So compulsorily they will have to read it within the school. So I think this is one of the areas where if you have some supplementary reading materials on cyber security that can be introduced in the institution so that can be easily get knowledge from that. And the second thing is that it's not only the law and also the policy to protect children from the cyberbullying. It's the awareness. First of all, we'll have to address the institutions as well as we'll have to address the family, because this is the parents where children most of their time they spend in their house. So parents, there should be a family norms that can be set. Up to what time they will browse they will be online basically, their children would be online. So there should be family norms, there should be norms at the educational institutions, how to use internet, up to what time, and then what should be the basically that norms to use it. So that should be there. Otherwise, if we don't integrate family as well as institutions, I think it would be a far cry to the issue. So in that case, under secondary education development program, we have developing the reading habit program. So supplementary reading books for creativity, for articulation is there in the secondary institutions, and 8 million children, they are the member of this developing the reading habit program. So this is a big platform for the children. We can disseminate this idea to them to make them aware, as well as we have parents teachers association in all the institutions, including the MC, School Management Committee and Master Management Committee. So we can integrate all those parents and management committee members, make them aware that this kind of sensitive issue to be addressed very clearly. Either it would be at home or it would be at the institutions. So law policy is there. If we integrate law policy along with the educational institution and family, and I think jointly we can fight. And there should be collaboration is needed basically to ensure it. Collaboration sense that UNICEF is there, Grameen Fund is there. We can invite civil society members to come up with the awareness program so that we can disseminate the idea to all the community members, particularly the parents and all school management committee. So not only the regional or country level community collaboration is enough to address the issue. We need to have international collaborations as well. So what are the international practices and programs that should be on board? As we have already seen, ITU maybe they have very good program to address this issue along with the international partners, so that our local program can be integrated to the regional program as well as to the international program, so that ultimately we can be in a position to address this cyber crime, cyber sensitivity, as well as the internet security for our future generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mahmudul Haq. I like the way you actually summed up the key issues here and the key players. Like so, very much in the way our panelists actually drew it out when we started with Moshe, who spoke about, what is it that they have learned, BRAC has learned from its years of experience working with children on this. And then Sabrina hearing as example, not just the space that children need to have this discussion, the awareness that it has created for children, but also parents, and how this has been such a welcome initiative by the parents as well, because it provides them, for some of them, the information and the knowledge they themselves required. But also, I think, like parents, we have heard other areas as well, and many of us parents here go through the phase of being uncertain. Should I or should I not? Should I let my kids go online or should I not? What will happen if they go online, and what will? And I think this has created that openness to discuss it and the information that comes with it. And finally, to hear from both of you, the pen holders of secondary education, on what can be done and how it can be included, the creative ways which we can include this without burdening the child. None of us want to burden the children. So no exam, but each reading. And then opening up the space using the school committees and so on to include parents and others. Because each one of us has a role to play in order that our kids are safe online. So thank you for your thoughts. And to our viewers and to those in the room, it's all time to hear from you. Because of course this wasn't supposed to be a one-sided discussion. We do want to have a discussion with you. So before that, what we'd like to do is share a couple of more videos with you as well of the integrated campaigns so that you have glimpses of what else there is on that. And then we will have discussions around it. So.
আচ্ছা পেয়ারা না আচ্ছা জলপাইও আছে
আপু আমি কি একটু আপনার সাথে কথা বলতে পারি
আমার সাথে
হ্যাঁ আমি নাটক সিনেমা বিজ্ঞাপনের কাস্টিং ডিরেক্টর আপনি কিন্তু চাইলে ফার্স্ট ক্লাস মডেল আপনি কিন্তু খুব
থ্যাংক ইউ
আপনার অনলাইন আইডিটা দিতে পারবেন
ইয়ানা জোহা
এটা না
হ্যাঁ
পাঠিয়ে দিচ্ছি হ্যাঁ
আচ্ছা আমি অ্যাকসেপ্ট করব
আপনি আমাকে ছবি দিন শাড়ি পরা সালোয়ার কামিজ ওয়েস্টার্ন এনি কাইন্ড অফ ফটো অনলাইন ফোন দেব না ঠিক আছে
আচ্ছা হ্যাঁ
আচ্ছা আসি হ্যাঁ ছবি পাঠান
এভাবে অচেনা মানুষের সাথে পার্সোনাল তথ্য শেয়ার করে অনলাইনেও আমরা নিজের বিপদ দেখে আনি অনলাইন সেফটি সম্পর্কে জানতে লগইন করুন gramin.com এ এই সংক্রান্ত অভিযোগ থাকলে ডায়াল করুন 1098 নম্বরে আবৃত্তি করছি কবি জীবনানন্দ দাশের আবার আসিব ফিরে কবিতা আবার আসিব ফিরে ধানসিঁড়িটির তীরে এই বাংলা ধানসিঁড়িটির তীরে এই বাংলায় হয়তো মানুষ নয় হয়তো বা শঙ্খচিল শালিকের বেশে হয়তো ভোরের কাক হয়ে এই বাস্তব জীবন কোনো অসঙ্গতি যেমন আমাদের নাড়া দেয় অনলাইনেও কি ঠিক হওয়ার কথা না অনলাইন সেফটি সম্পর্কে আরো জানতে লগইন করুন graminphone.com এ এই সংক্রান্ত কোনো অভিযোগ থাকলে ডায়াল করুন 1098 নম্বরে
So we're going to start off the discussion session, and I just want to remind everyone that this is an interactive session. We will have you in the room, but we have questions coming those who are watching online. So maybe we will start off the first one, which has come from Shubho, who's watching this on Facebook. Question is, interest change with age? A way to protect children from age-inappropriate or harmful content. Motushi, I think you spoke a bit about this. So would you like to answer this and clarify more?
Absolutely. Because the risk is, especially now with internet ads, that when you browse for an ad or when you go to a site, ads that show up is not driven by your usage pattern. It's driven by the collective usage pattern of the country, right? And when a child is online, the ads they're exposed to, the content they're exposed to, sometimes it's not only limited to your home environment. It's about what everyone else is searching, right? Because it's driven by the overall demand of the content. And unfortunately, there are a lot of demand of inappropriate content. If you look at the Google pattern in Bangladesh of inappropriate sites or inappropriate applications. So that's why it's extremely important first for parents or caregivers or teachers know what type of risk there. And there can be three types of risk, right? It can be either cyberbullying, it can be online predators, or it can be inappropriate content. And to really ensure safety, of course, there is a preventive side of it, that are we talking for children, are we making them aware of what kind of content is appropriate, but there's also protection side of it, and that's why I'll bring in again the point about strengthening, monitoring, and working with internet service providers, making sure that they have the necessary filters or they have the right either punish or incentives. So the internet service providers, for example, can have safety badges so that the parents, they know which internet service providers have necessary protection mechanisms in place, because it will only work. There a positive motivation in the whole system and partners to really have those balances and check and balance in place. So I'd say having those incentives in place and making sure the parents are aware and they know which service provider is safe, or at least make an effort to make it safe. Help.
Thank you, Motushi. I think, again, it's so important that there is a role for everyone to play in making a child safer online. There is a role for service providers, there is a role, as we discussed, parents, and so on. Thank you so much, Motushi. So now, what I'd like us to do, to have this discussion, and so that we can have a little more interaction and understand what you're thinking. So for those of you who are here, I would like you to go to your phones, which all of us like doing. So if you can take your phones out, and then if you can connect to this, if you can see it, it's HTTP, and then you have a /, you have bit.ly/child-online. If you can please connect to that, we're going to do some polling. That's going to be fun. And those viewing online, please access this through Facebook. We will have the questions and you can answer it on Facebook. So those who are in the room, please use this, and those who are on Facebook, please go ahead and do that. So, are we ready? Is everyone in the room ready? Yes? Everyone's connected? All right. So the first question, when children are online, I'm most concerned about A, online bullying, B, exposure to inappropriate content, and C, risk of physical sexual violence. And we have the answers coming in. Yes, it's been changing. We still have more coming. Are we all done? Are we thinking? I can see them shifting. Are we done? We know how it's going online? I guess we have, I guess our online viewers are also answering and we will have their results as well. So are we done in this room? Is this what we have? Yes, everybody in the room? Have you answered? Yes. All right, so this is what we have. 31% of those in this room think or are most concerned about online bullying. And 46% are most concerned about exposure to inappropriate content. We did hear quite a bit about. And then 23% are concerned about physical and sexual violence. So interesting. And the online results, I think will, while we are waiting for that in, I think we've got a sense of what's coming in the room. The biggest worry is the exposure to inappropriate content. So very quickly, to think about that while we wait for the other one is, what are your thoughts on this to the panelists? What do you think does this mean? You know, do you think this reflects, based on the discussions we had earlier, if anyone wants to? Yes, Sabrina, please.
Yes, inappropriate content is definitely my choice as well. But you see, we can't close our eyes, we can't close our ears, and we can't stop breathing. Just like that, we can't stop this popping up unless you have a very strict, system in your computers. But I think it's the awareness of what to take and what not to take is the best possible solution to this. In our lives, we will teach our children that they are going to face bad things and good things, but they have to choose the good, right? So it doesn't mean that they're going to see something bad and they are going to see something good. Which one are they going to choose? So we can ensure that they are aware of their ethical values. Just like Sir mentioned over here, that yes, they have that understanding of what is right and what is not. I think we can always be sure that yes, our children are going to be safe. Thank you. And I think we do have the Facebook results in, which are actually very similar, because even for those who are watching online, we've got exposure to inappropriate content coming in from 43%, and which is quite similar to the 47% we have here. So in the room, may I just ask anyone here, or, just to tell us a bit about your thinking, because, what made you for that, or what your thoughts, either way, not just the 43 or the 47%, but even if you can share your thoughts on it. So anyone to voice an opinion here? You were the ones who voted. You don't want to share your thoughts with us of why you voted for that? Oh, we've been here sitting and telling you and discussing. That's fair. Don't you tell us? No? Yes, there's one hand there. Please.
Hello. I'm Shihab Rahman. I'm coming from Criminal Lab. So, according to my observation,
may we know?
Yes, sorry. You can do a short introduction.
Yeah, I'm Shihab Rahman. I'm from Criminal Lab. So, from my observation as to my age or people younger than me, we've seen them.
That's like me, right? People younger than you. No?
So, I've seen them driven to things which are inappropriate more, like which things are not to do. We told our youngers that don't do this, and back in their mind, I see them, on those parts. So inappropriate contents actually driven them more, subconsciously. I've seen them like they don't want to expose themselves, maybe in front of us or their guardians, parents, but in their mind when they're in group with their or other groups, they fear or they talk about that we have seen such contents or these are available or maybe. So from my perspective, this should be monitored more. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. And I find that very interesting because as you speak, you know, the Facebook polling is going on and it now stands at 50% inappropriate content thing. And it's very interesting to me, you know, that people who are viewing this and following this online are clearly people who do quite a bit online. They're the ones who are aware, it seems, because they're saying at 50% of them say exposure to inappropriate content is the biggest fear. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. Anyone else, even if you 20% or the 33% that said, no, my biggest fear is online bullying. Just share with us your thoughts on that. Yes, Christina.
Thank you. I can share again. Sorry, I'm not very technology savvy. I wasn't able to vote.
So you're going to tell us your
So I will tell you is no. As a parent, still my son is quite young, but what I am concerned about is when it comes to the online bullying. Because I feel in the school or in the community, I'm able to see and I'm able to protect him. When it comes to what is going on online, I'm not there unless he tells me. So that is one, I think, will become one of my concerns as he grows older.
Thank you, Christine. And I think this again also reflects a bit more on what we talked about, the different ages that they're at. I guess our fears also for them are based on the age that our kids are at. Anyone else on your thoughts? Yes, please, the gentleman here.
I'm Rocky from Practice Skills Development Program. So one of my concern is sometimes we are, maybe me and my younger brother and sisters, they are forced to being exposed to this kind of content. If I like share it, we all know one app that we used to use like to share different kind of file or something. So they are recently, I'm like observing, they are forcing you to being exposed to different kind of inappropriate content. So so these things also to be like to consider, like while some of the renowned or some of the known things are forcing kind of exposure or like promoting kind of youth or adolescent. So this is one of my concern. I just want to share, like definitely it's a remarkable initiative from UNICEF and Fund, definitely. But one thing, there are thousands of children or youth, those who are not in the school right now. They are out of school, dropped out from the school for different reasons. So definitely we need to incorporate some of the mechanism to reach those students, those adolescents, those who are not in the school right now, because they are completely in those more risky position than the school children.
There is another hand.
Which is mostly played, but them are inappropriate. So